9:30. Some people get taxes back, other people get taxes back.
Why should sponsor a tax?
Yeah. Okay. So I thought I'd discuss a little bit with you some inyonim from the Rebbe about Teshuvah, what Teshuvah is about. And I've chosen 2 Torahs from Likutei Moharan, just small pieces from Torah Vav in the first Chelek and Pei Beis in the second Chelek. And I've given some extracts there. And I want to just... Most people think of Teshuvah as being connected with something that one's done or omitted to do. I think you should do Teshuvah on this and Teshuvah on that. The Rebbe comes from it from a completely different direction. He never mentions anything about wrongdoing, which is an interesting thing. So let's start off. You'll see here. So the Rebbe starts with Torah Vav, and I've only chosen a small extract. Ki sorich kol adam v'mat b'chvoid atzmo v'habois b'chvoid hamocha. Strange thing, yeah? That a person has to diminish his own kavod and increase the kavod of the Rebbeinu Shlolem. So that's the essence of what Teshuvah is about. It's all about kavod. It's not about doing things right and doing things wrong and regretting things, but it's all about ego. So the whole inyan of Rosh Hashanah is about kavod. To whom do you give honor, right? Whose honor are you pursuing? Is it your own honor? Is it the things you want it to be, the way you want it to be? Do you want to be king, or do you want the Rebbeinu Shlolem to be? It's a very interesting, it gets to the whole root of the inyan of Teshuvah. The Rebbe never talks, about a whole list of things about what you have to do Teshuvah about. But he deals with the whole attitude, a frame of mind, which a mindset, so that a person is on a derech where he's not, and he has to do Teshuvah, because his mind, he's concerned with his own ego, and he's concerned with himself, and his own kavod, not with the kavod of the Rebbe.
We always say HaMelech every time.
That's in Rosh Hashanah is about HaMelech HaKavod, HaMelech HaKodesh, HaMelech HaMelech. But although we say that, right, because we don't appreciate that the way the Rebbe shows it is that it's like a scale. When you go on these, what you call it, the kids go on, what do you call these things? Seesaw.
Yeah.
It's an absolute seesaw. The degree to which a person increases or wants to increase his own kavod, then he is automatically diminishing the kavod of the Rebbeinu Shlolem. And therefore, on Rosh Hashanah, he has to come and say, HaMelech HaKodesh. Yeah? Everything is HaMelech, because he's before that, he's acknowledging himself as king. And that he wants to be... Most of our problems stem from the fact, from the Chet of Adam Rishon, that he wanted to be God. He wanted to be godlike, right? And we want that as well. We want everything to go the way we want it to go, right?
Don't
we know how to run the world much better than the Rebbeinu Shlolem. Why is this happening to me? Why am I stuck in this traffic jam? Why haven't I got my ticket? Why didn't the guy turn up on time? Why? I could run it much better. Yeah, it's the whole thing. You'll see, Torah Pei Beis is mainly about that in it. So here, this one is mainly, Torah Vav is about kavod. Yeah, it's not, and that people want glory. Yeah, they want to be in charge. We want to be in charge. It goes right the way back, and it's built into us from a very early age. The whole idea is that we're brought up to have control. Right, as we get older, we can control, as we grow up, to control more and more and more. And the whole of our civilization, certainly modern Western civilization, is all about control. Every development, everything is to be able to control nature, to control the world more and more and more. That's what it's about. Not recognizing that God is in charge. but to chap the malchus for ourselves.
Same is true in interpersonal relationships.
What?
Same is true in interpersonal
Everything.
relationships.
Yeah.
Raising children.
Everything is about control. It's all about control. Ki mi sheroide v'achar kovod. It's a person who pursues kovod. Eina zoche lichvoid Elokim. He's not worthy of God's glory, right? In fact, what he's doing, he's diminishing God's glory. Of course, God's glory isn't actually diminished, right? We can't touch it, but it's the manifestation, the way it's recognized in the world, right? The way it's like you've got honor for a king, the Rebbe Nata, and if you ignore that king, you don't show the king honor, right? Then you're not really touching the honor of the king, so whatever it is, yeah. But the manifestation, right? Our role is really to recognize the glory of the Rebbeinu Shlom. That's it. That's really what we're here for. So whole tachlis is to recognize the glory of the Rebbeinu Shlom and to act in such a way. So let's go on a little bit. So the Elo lichvoid kol ha'melochim, but the person who chases after glory is only worthy of what the Rebbe calls kingly glory, yeah, and that is something kavod melochim chakadover. It's something that's investigated. So what he's saying is, the more and more you chase after honor for yourself or for members of your family, because it's all part of the same thing, more it will escape you, because people will question you more. And not only will people question you more, but you yourself will question your own honor more. The more and more you want honor, the more you will find that it's aggravating you that people are not giving you honor. So you're questioning yourself, yeah? When it says people question that honor, it means you yourself question that honor. You know? Why is it I'm not getting this honor? Yeah, why is it? It's the Chochem and the Tam. It's like the Chochem was after honor. He was only after kavod, right? And he couldn't bear it, like Haman, right? Everybody gave him honor, except Mordechai. One person in the whole kingdom didn't show him honor, right? And he couldn't cope with it. He had to destroy the whole nation because this one guy wouldn't show him honor. Well, I mean, you think, some Jewish person here doesn't bow down to me. What difference does it make? Couldn't cope with it. So he says the V'hakoil choikrim achrav v'shoilim, that they question and they ask, Mi hu zeh ve'izeh hu? Who is this person? They give him this honor, right? People start questioning it. Why is he worthy? Why does he want this honor? It's not something that you can grasp, right, without feeling uneasy. This is what the Rebbe says. For the person who runs away from kavod. But he increases the kavod of the Rebbeinu Shalom. That is, he mevatels himself in every respect to the rotzen of the Rebbeinu Shalom. Not only does he then increase the honor of the Rebbeinu Shalom, but the degree that he mevatels himself, he becomes part of that honor. He becomes part of and so he can enjoy the honor of the Rebbeinu Shalom. That's how our whole enjoyment, why the Rebbeinu Shalom created us, so that we can be part of the honor of the Rebbeinu Shalom, right, and feel that pleasure. Now, those people who are sports enthusiasts here, right? Yeah. Have you ever been to, I don't know, in America, yeah, and certainly in England, if you go to a soccer stadium, right, and the team comes onto the ground, they stand up, and everybody screams and shouts and gives kavod to their team, and if they score a goal, the whole place erupts, yeah? Do you see that in Shul? Do you ever see, really, we're talking about the Rebbeinu Shalom. The only place you see it a little bit is in Uman. I have to say that, right? I think people say, I can't remember where it's come from, where it says and Rosh Hashanah, we honor the Ribbono Shel Olam, but the real coronation is in Uman. That's where the coronation. And you see that of the enthusiasm to welcome and to recognize the kavod of the Ribbono Shel Olam. And I must say, with all the years that I've been going, I've never felt that as much as the first year that we went. In 1989. It's an amazing feeling, just to daven there. And I mamish felt that the Rebbe was sitting there in the front of the shul and really leading everybody in cheering for cheering for the Ribbono Shel Olam. When the Queen comes in, people stand up and clap. And not only they get so excited with it, right? No, surely this and that. We recognize. What does it mean to recognize the Ribbono Shel Olam as King? It means you have to be so mevatel to the rotzen of the Ribbono Shel Olam and be so happy and to recognize the Ribbono Shel Olam that you feel part of that cover, just as the football fans, the soccer fans, when their team comes out. Although they're cheering the team, they're part of it. They feel that is their team and that they are themselves part of the glory. That's what has to be with the Ribbono Shel Olam. They're not, the people there in the crowd are not interested in their own glory. They're cheering their team, but by cheering their team, they're happy with it. They feel tremendous simcha. That's the real simcha. Certain things we have to learn from the goyim, I think. But this is how to recognize the Ribbono Shel Olam and to cheer. This is what he says. The person who runs from the kavod of his own kavod, and he looks to increase the kavod of the Ribbono Shel Olam, then he's zoicha to this kavod Elokim because he feels part of it. He doesn't want it for himself. He's cheering on the greatest king on earth, right? And he's part of it. And he's so happy about it because he's part of the supporters. He's like the prince. We're all princes and princesses. We're children of the Rabbanu. Say, Avinu Malkeinu. Avinu Malkeinu means that we're princes. Our father, our king, means we're princes. And so we really have to feel part of that tremendous sense of glory for the Ribbono Shel Olam. So it says, ואז אין בני אדם חוקרים על הכבוד אם הוא רואה in love. Nobody can question it because you're talking about the King of Kings. Nobody can question whether the Ribbono Shel Olam or whether you, as part of that, are worthy or not. It isn't something you have to feel insecure about. If you're worshipping yourself, and you can feel insecure. Am I worthy of all this? Like we saw the story of the Chacham and the Tam. The Chacham goes crazy because he feels insecure about this self-glorification that is built up. And when he comes to the test to go to the king, he can't face that because he's insecure about his own glory, and he can't meet somebody who's got a greater glory. But the Tam is full of the glory of the Ribbono Shel Olam, and he goes and he just reflects and bathes in the glory of the Ribbono Shel Olam because he's part of it. And the degree to which we mevatel ourselves to the Ribbono Shel Olam, the more and more and more we feel the glory of Hashem, and the greater simcha we can feel. Okay. But a person cannot merit this glory el al yedei teshuva, except by doing teshuva. But what does he mean by doing teshuva? The Rebbe means doing teshuva means to diminish one's own glory. That's what he means. If you diminish your own glory, this is the whole essence of teshuva, is to recognize the Ribbono Shel Olam as king, and you do whatever the Ribbono Shel Olam wants you to do, not what I want. You recognize it's lahavdil. I always think it's like, imagine you're invited to. I'll give the Queen of England as an example, but you don't all have to, because I can't quote Obama. It's not even.
Please.
No covet at all.
We're in a shawl.
Right, exactly. I don't want to even get involved to say that you would feel a sense of covet when you went to somewhere with Obama. Sorry about that. Right. So,
You don't have to be sorry.
okay, so imagine you're invited to meet the Queen of England in her assembly, whatever it is. You get this invitation, and it says, please, no mobile phones, no smoking, dressed in a proper, whatever it is, and the whole code. And you turn up in horrible jeans, and you turn up and you turn up smoking with an empty beer can in your hand and a mobile phone and the Queen comes in, and your phone goes off, right? So you turn around and you walk to the window, and you're on the mobile phone and you're smoking. Is that covered for the Rebbe? Is that covered for the Queen? No. You're not showing any covered, and you're not increasing. If you can get away with it, you're not increasing. Yeah. Now all those people in the shuls who walk, when their mobile phones go off, and they run to answer their mobile phones, right? And they talk, and the king is there, not showing. Or the king says, I don't want you to do this on Shabbos, I don't want you to do that, and they do it. They're diminishing that glory of the Rebbeinu Shalom, Lahavdil, in a sense. Do you understand how it's manifest? Although they can't obviously touch the glory of Hashem, but the way it's manifest in the world. So that's what Tshuva is about, giving back that glory to the Rebbeinu Shalom by diminishing one's own rotzen and increasing always the kavod of the Rebbeinu Shalom. That's what they come to. So he says, this is what Teshuvah. The Iker ha-Teshuvah k'yishma b'zyoino yidam b'yishtoi. And the essence of Teshuvah, this is the crazy thing, Never ever in any other sefer have you ever seen this. People say, well, what's the essence of Teshuvah? Oh, I shouldn't do this anymore, and shouldn't do this anymore. The Rebbe says, is to hear yourself insulted and not to hit back. Have you ever seen that in any sefer, anywhere? When you were brought up and you were in a cheder, did anyone ever tell you that the ikar of Teshuvah is to hear yourself insulted, and not to hit back? It's because it's about ego. The whole idea is that you have to realize that everything comes from the Rebbeinu Shalom. That when you're insulted, this is coming from the Rebbeinu Shalom, and the Rebbeinu Shalom is sending it to me not for no reason, but for some reason. Whatever it is, I'm meant to hear this insult, and if I don't hit back, it helps me, puts me in my place, me and my ego back in my place, right? And it's the hardest thing. Because one of the most precious things we have is our self-importance, and here we've got somebody puncturing one's self-importance. Now you have to be careful that in this situation where the Rebbe is talking about not hitting back, you've got to be very careful that sometimes you can hit back by not hitting back. If you know that it's annoying the guy who's insulting you by not answering him, that's hitting back at him. Or you have to be very careful that if for any reason that if somebody insults you in public, and it's something that could affect your family, somebody stands up and says, you're a gunner, you stole, and he spreads it around. You've obviously got to put it right, because it can affect your family, yourself, your parnasa, whatever it is. So you're certainly allowed to do that. But what you're not meant to do is say, you called me a gunner, what about you? Yeah, I know, I got the story, you and your father before you, right? And your brother as well. What about the time he spent serving the American president, in one of his establishments, This is what not that you should be a shmata, but you should know that if the Rebbeinu Shalom sends you that, it's because somehow there's an ego there somewhere, and you're not sufficiently muvatal to the glory of the Rebbeinu Shalom, and you're being taken down a peg. I think Wuzid said, I read somewhere, one of the Breslevers, maybe it was Rav Rosen, I can't remember, said, if a person realized the chashivas of being insulted, than a person would go to the mikveh if he was anticipating, because it's such a holy thing. Now, I'm not asking you should bring it on, you understand? But,
It's a
especially
very hard
though,
thing because this is dependent on somebody else. You're like, wait, you can't do anything about this. There's nothing else, nothing you can do until that moment arrives. It may not come.
in most cases there will be something which will slight you, and you'll feel as a slight somewhere. You only have to go into the post office in Israel, and don't tell me you won't feel that you're personally slighted, or you have to phone up one of the, you have to phone up Bezek or someone like, it's not very difficult in Eretz Israel to Baruch Hashem to be Yosef this mitzvah to Tshuva.
It's not very difficult anywhere as long as you get married.
Well,
Yeah.
I wasn't going to say anything like that.
As long as
I
what?
was gonna say.
Get married.
All right, so let's go on, and then now the Rebbe brings here a very interesting. It says here, you should be quiet. You don't be yishtoi means that you should not answer back, but also that internally you shouldn't bear a grudge and be angry against the person, which is very hard.
Well, like you say, if you want to defend your reputation and your family.
But you don't do it in an angry way.
For example, let's say a person calls this guy a gunner. So
Yeah.
So how
You say, I'm not a gunner. What proof have you got that I'm a gunner? You don't hit back. You don't hit back in anger with it. That's it. You can definitely.
I don't know what you're talking about or something. Like
Yeah, whatever it is. What are you talking? What proof or what have you got? Why? You're allowed certainly to defend yourself. You can't let a bad reputation for yourself and your family go. But there's ways of doing it, right? So he says, "Ki leis chavod v'lo chaf." We'll come on to it because there's no chavod without a chaf, the letter chaf. V'chaf hu keser, b'chinas ekia, b'chinas teshuva. So now we'll come on and see what this is about here, the end bit. And now I'll go on to the second bit which I put down for you. And this is the Indian, very interesting in pay base. I'll just give you a very little background as to how the Rebbe develops this. The Rebbe brings from the story, not the story, but how Chava was created. Now there are two views. On the one view, people say that it was like a limb that was taken out of Adam, and the other view is that Chava was created as a Siamese twin to Adam, on the back of Adam, and that when she was created as a woman, that she was actually just separated from Adam. That she was already born when Adam was created. Chava was created like a Siamese twin on her back. Right? Now, you've got to imagine the situation when Adam wants to go forward. Right? Now, Adam is the more powerful one. You've got to have this in mind. Adam is the more powerful one. So if he wants to go this direction, then Chava's got to go in that direction. Right? But if Chava wants to go right, and Adam wants to go left, what does Chava do about it? So she can do three things, right? She can either just go along with it, okay, it's not what I want to do, but or she can fight and kvetch and get upset and get distressed and get anxious. I don't want to go left, I want to go right, I want to go right, I want to go left, but he's slapping me along here, what can I do about it, right? Or she can ask Adam, look, don't you think we ought to be, I want to go right, not go left, and she can try and persuade him, right? Now the Rebbe used this as an example in the first bit of Torah of the relationship, lahavdil, between the Rabbeinu Shloilem and mankind. In that Adam represents, lahavdil, the Rabbeinu Shloilem, and Chava represents mankind. So that at the end of the day, whatever the Rabbeinu Shloilem, how the Rabbeinu Shloilem wants to run the world, that's how it's going to go. Right? Now if we want to go from here to here, and we've got a plane to catch or a train to catch, and there's a traffic jam, whatever it is, right? It's something completely beyond our control. You've got three situations that you can deal with, right? You can either go crazy, you can get road rage, right? And you can blame everybody around you except yourself, and you can go out and beat people up if they're stuck in the traffic jam with you because you think they're insulting you or they scraped your car, right? Or you can sit there and say, look, that's how it is. I left on time, I did what I wanted to do. And Adam wants to go on, that's the way Adam wants to go. That's what. Or you can ask him, Rabboni Shalom, please get me out of this traffic jam. I need to, if it's the right thing. So we've all got those choices, right? So the truth is that Adam is the inyan of Keseda. In that, this is the way the Rabboni Shalom wants things to go. Everything is really Keseda according to the way the Rabboni Shalom wants things to go. Because if it wasn't the way the Rabboni Shalom wanted it to go, he would change it. So everything is when you're in the inyan of Adam and you're letting Adam control things, right? Which is the Rabboni Shalom. You think of Adam as being in control, and you recognize that in relation to the Rabboni Shalom, I don't have the koyach for it to go my way. It goes, then that's Keseda. Whereas Chava, if she screams and shouts and yells because she wants to go left, whereas Adam is causing everything to go right, because then she is the inyan of Shaloi Keseda. So chap onto that, and we'll see what the Rebbe says now. The next bit. When a person takes malchus for himself, then things are not going to go Keseda. When a person wants to run the world, when a person wants, would you like a sheet? Yeah? Okay. Sorry. Okay. When a person wants to run the world, and wants to control every single thing, then the more you do that, the more you realize that the less you are able to control. Because there are more things which are going to go out of your control. Because you're not in control of all these things, right? So the more you try and control, the more you are in this inyan of Shaloi Keseda, because more things are going to go wrong for you. Whereas if you don't try and control, if you don't try and that things have to go the way I want it. I want to be king. I want to be in charge. Then because the Rabboni Shalom is running it. That is, Adam eventually determines which way I'm going to go because I'm just slapping along on his back. And maybe he'll go if I tell him, or he knows that I want to go left. Maybe he'll go left, right? But he's going left, maybe because I asked him, or because he knows I want to go left. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to go left if Adam is determined that I'm going to go right. So if for some reason I'm not meant to get this plane, there's nothing I can do to get the plane. There's not a traffic jam. It'll be this, or I'll be held up in customs, or whatever it is, or I'll forget my passport. So the more you say, I have to do, I'm the Emloich, I have to rule, then there one's in a whole inyan of Shaloi Keseda. That means the whole world is full of anxiety for you. The whole world is full of turmoil, right? Because you don't see, you're slapping the covered to yourself. And you're not recognizing that the covered belongs to the Rebbe. So let's go on. You're in this whole concept of Shaloi Keseda. When you try and control more and more around you, you're in this whole atmosphere. You're living in a world of Shaloi Keseda. Hainu Malchus, Chava, you're taking the whole concept, you're in this concept of Chava, which is Tashrak, which is backwards. Everything, the Chava is going backwards, right? The letters of the alphabet are backwards is the way the Rebbe shows it. K'zeh b'chinas chava hu mekusheres la'adam hainu hakadosh baruch hu. But when you accept that Adam, when Chava accepts that Adam is in control, and she accepts that Adam knows best because he can see where he's going, whereas I can't really see where I'm going because I'm going backwards, right? Then the whole world suddenly becomes Seder for you, because you know that there's an order in the world. You know that the Hashem runs everything for the best. But I put my trust in Adam, right? The one who's really in charge, I'm giving the kingship back to him. Kingship, i.e. control. And that's what Tshuva is about. Tshuva is about acknowledging that we're not in control, that I don't want the covet for myself, that whatever control I have is only to give covet to the Rebbeinu. And the only control I have is when the Rebbeinu Shalom gives me that control. Azai hoylech loy kaseda. Then things go for him kaseda. Then just jump a couple of lines. Uvechinas kaseda nikra yud. And when things go kaseda for a person, then this is represented by the letter yud. Yud is yud vav daled. Yud is represents the Rebbeinu Shalom. Right? I always say Yud, right? The first Yud K, Vav K, whatever it is Yud, is the Rebbeinu Shalom. So when things go Kaseda, it's because you see all control coming from the Rebbeinu Shalom into this world. That represents Yud. Malchus Nikra Dalet, and Malchus, which is majesty or control, is represented by the letter Dalet. So you've got Yud, which is Yud Vav Dalet, which means that you see the Malchus and the control flowing from the Yud, which is Chochmah, or Keser, whatever it is, the highest of the Sephiros, right? Flowing through Vav, which is Tiferes, into Malchus. And when you see it working that way, and we know we're at the bottom of the thing, that we accept the Malchus of the Rebbeinu Shalom, right? We're in this Dalet, right? Yeah, because we have Yesh Lo Megamra, we have nothing for ourselves except what the Rebbeinu Shalom gives us. Then the Malchus and the Rebbeinu Shalom, it all becomes a flow. Everything flows nicely. Everything is kaseda, right? When we accept that the Rebbeinu Shalom is in control, we accept that everything is flowing from the Rebbeinu Shalom, and that everything flowing from the Rebbeinu Shalom is for the best. Then we're in this Yud Vav Dalet, where everything is flowing from the Yud, from Chochmah or Keser, through to Dalet, which is Malchus, because we're giving the Malchus to the Rebbeinu Shalom. Right? But, okay? But then, everything is drawn from the Chochmah, which is the Yud, yeah? Chochmah is Yud. Everything flows from the Yud through to the Malchus. Okay? Then we'll just do that. But so therefore, it says here, Acha v'kedem Sartoni, front and back you place me, v'tosa olai kapecha, and you put your hand on me. That is the Rebbeinu. The Rebbeinu Shalom created everything, and everything is within his grasp. Al tikre kapecha elo chofecha. But the Rebbe says, don't read it as everything is in your hand, but everything is under the control of your chof, the letter chof, right? Which is covered. We saw before. Chof is 20, right? Which is the highest level. Either you can say it's chochmah or keser, right? And that stands for 20 because there are 10 spheres under. It's that 10th high. So you go down 10, an upturn. So Keser, everything is flowing from Keser nicely, in the way it's meant to be, harmoniously, when we give Malchus to the Rebbeinu Shlom. Right? And actually I think Keser is the gematria of Esrim, I think, which is 20, right?
Kaf.
What?
Yud.
What? No.
Yud is 20.
No, not. It's 500. No, it's the gematria of, what is it? 620, right? Which is Keser. And Esrim is also the gematria of 620. Esrim is the gematria of 620. But then, so we say Yud is the gematria of Kof, where Yud Vav Dalet. But when a person takes Malchus for himself or for herself, and he draws his chiyas from his own Malchus, instead of it reading Yud Vav Daled, he turns it round, so it's Daled Vav Yud, right? Devor. Now Devor, he turns Miyud Nase Devor, which is V'chol Levav Devor. Devor means anxiety. So the degree that a person tries to take Malchus, the degree that we as Chava are kvetching and upset, and we say, I want to know that, I want to run this, I know how to do this, then you're in a state of anxiety. And there's no way out of it.
Except to stop it.
What?
Except to stop it.
Except to stop it. And to recognize really where the Malchus is. And that's Tshuva. That's why he says, you have to do Tshuva. Because when things go for a person, he sees everything's wrong, because this is not the way it should be. It's all kaseda, shaloi kaseda. Zelo machlas leiv. He develops a sickness of the heart, as it says, tocheles meshochacha. That it's a posuk. His hope is delayed, is slapped out. And when a person sees that when everything is not going right for him or her, Yeda, he should know, and this ties it all up, Sheyesh lo gadlus, it's because he's got gadlus, it's because he wants to rule. That's the whole answer to it all. Hainu Ano Emloch, I want to rule. And so what is the answer? The Rebbe says, Yaseh Teshuvah, v'yashpil es atzmo. A person has to do Teshuvah and to lower himself, right? It means, and by lowering oneself, what are you doing? You're increasing the glory of the Rebbeinu Shlom. Then you're increasing the glory of the Rebbeinu Shlom. You're recognizing that everything that the Rebbeinu Shlom, Hashem is running the world, and you're recognizing that everything the Rebbeinu Shlom is good, and then you're in the Bechina of Kaseda. You don't have to be anxious anymore. That's it, everything is Kaseda. Yeh Bechinas Mo, and you bring yourself into the level of Mo, the Rebbe talks. Mem Hey, what is this level of Mo? As it says, Kamosh Kosev Anachnu Mo. Moshe Rabbeinu said when he was attacked, by Bnei Yisrael, because they said he was taking gadlus for himself. He said, "Manachnu mo, what am I? I'm nothing." And Moshe Rabbeinu was the most humble of all people, and yet he had the most glory of all of anyone, because his glory came from the glory of the Rebbeinu Shlom. Now, if you have a look. Then you return Chava, who we represent, to the Inyan of Adam. Adam and Mo, the same gematria, 45, right? So a person is only really a person, right? He's only a real person and needs the name Adam when he has the humility, of allowing the glory of the Ribbono Shel Olam to shine into him and to diminish his own kavod. That's the whole Indian, right? Now, if you have a look, there are certain names of the Ribbono Shel Olam which you get by spelling out the name Yud Kei Vav Kei, right? Ab Sag Ma Ban, right? Now, one of those names, if you spell out the name Yud Kei Vav Kei in full, but with alephs, yes, Yud Vav Daled, Hey Aleph, Vav Aleph Vav, and Hey Aleph, that's the name Mosque, it comes to 45. That's the holy name of the Ribbono Shel Olam, in the name of 45, right? So a person is only really worthy of the name Adam, which is he becomes part of one and with the Ribbono Shel Olam to the degree that he humbles himself, mevatels himself to the Ribbono Shel Olam, then he is worthy of the name Adam, and is worthy of attachment to the Ribbono Shel Olam, and everything goes kaseda for him.
Amazing.
But the more he tries to push himself, the more he tries to push everything the way he wants it to go, then first of all he's not worthy of the name Adam, right? Because he's not worthy of Ma, right? He's worthy of godless. Everybody questions what he's doing. He himself questions what he's doing. And he's in this world of devor. He's in this world of anxiety and turmoil because things are not good enough and not going right for him. Okay. Then the Rebbe says, he says, so a person brings himself into this bechina of Ma. This is the essence of Tshuva, which we've got back. You're returning the glory to the Ribbono Shel Olam. V'naseh kaseda, then things go kaseda. Hainu acha b'kedem, it says, v'chapecha, hainu yud. So then everything, he's back to this whole concept of yud, and this is the chokhmah is also the koyach of ma, chokhmah koyach ma, right? So when a person has the strength and the chokhmah that comes from the koyach of ma, which is humility, that is, he sees everything flowing from the greatness of the Ribbono Shel Olam and the rotzon of the Ribbono Shel Olam, then he's in this world of kaseda, right? And then he doesn't question why is everything going wrong, right? Because he says this is the way the Ribbono Shel Olam wants it. Then he's in a world without anxiety. Everything is kaseda for him because it's under Hashem's care, right? And he's fulfilling his tachlis as a person, which is giving kavod back to the Ribbono Shel Olam. Any questions on that?
Beautiful, Yashukah.
Any questions on this?
Well, Kaseda and no Kaseda, you say it's a choice.
What?
It's always a choice.
I look at it as also like a choice. Like you can go through different situations in life, and you can either make the right choice to take something Kaseda, take it, if it's out of my hands, it's Hashem's will, and the outcome would probably be different as opposed to taking it low Kaseda and blaming someone and blaming this and doing that. Like outcomes change. Choice.
The whole idea is that Tshuva is that you have a choice. We have Bechira. You can choose either to look at it this way or you can look at it that way. So it's like Chava. She's got a choice. Right? At the end of the day, if Adam wants to take her from here to there, he's going to slap her here to there, right? But she's got a choice how to react to it. Either she can say, okay, this is the way Adam wants it. I've spoken to him, I've asked him nicely, right? He knows my point of view, and at the end of the day, it's not going the way I want it to go. But it's going to go there. Or she can sit and kvetch, and scream and shout, and saying, I want to rule. What she's doing then is she's trying to take Malchus to herself and away from Odom, the Rebbeinu Shalom. It's an amazing concept of what Teshuvah is about. Completely different, you know. Any other questions?
It's a fine line, though. I'm thinking about the whole concept of politics. I mean, we think about you're not happy with what's going on, you complain about it. Then some people take it a step further and they go out and they demonstrate.
No one's saying you shouldn't do that.
Right.
No one's saying you've got to sit down and be a doormat. You have bechira, you have to act, right? But how your actions work out,
Yeah.
not up to you.
Right.
No one is saying you should do nothing, right? You have to do your ishtadlus, you have to work, you have to daven, you have to do whatever you're meant to do in the world. You're not meant to cross the road with your eyes shut
Right.
and then get upset or say, well, I got knocked down. Well, that's the way it was meant to be. I got knocked down. Right? You know, if someone's paying you to do a job in particular, you can't say, well, that's how it's meant to be. You know, I slept through the operation even though I'm a brain surgeon. You know, that was the guy wasn't meant to make it, and so I slept. No one, you can't do that. You have responsibilities. You've got to do things, right? You've got a family to look after. You can't abrogate your responsibilities. You have to do what you've got to do. But at the end of the day, when you've done what you act reasonably to do, how it comes out and what it's done is not in your hands.
You have to accept it for Hashem's will.
That's it. Shkoyach, we should all be zoicha to see everything should go kaseda throughout the year. It's very interesting. Reb Nosson, in one of his letters to his son, he says we should daven, that not only that everything is hashgacha, we know it's hashgacha, but things should be good. We know it is good, but we should be able to see that it's good.
Right.
So we should be able to see that everything is good and kaseda, and it should be a good year for all of us.
Amen.
It's great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Good year.